Hello, my friend. I have something to share with you. Introducing Easy Intuition and Meditation Coaching, a 2.5-month live and interactive spiritual coaching and personal growth program. I created this program because I truly believe it will change lives. In our 2.5-month program, you will receive education, meditations, and live group coaching sessions. You will be handed the keys to your own kingdom of heaven, and you will probably make new lifelong friends. It is perfect for all levels of spiritual development and meditation practice. This program starts November 1st, and you do not want to miss it. Hello. Welcome to this live stream, and welcome to the replay of this live stream. My name is Tricia Carr, and I am a spiritual teacher. I'm moving things over so I can see the window better. A spiritual teacher and an intuitive and empathic channel. And I'm here to talk about universal laws and intuitive living. Before I dive in, and while I'm waiting for some more folks to join, and hello, I see that there is someone here. Let me open up the chat, the comment, so I can see it. Hi, Tracy. So nice to see you. Welcome. If you see me looking that way, that's because I can see the chat a little better on the screen that's here than the screen that's here. And so I'm here to talk to you about universal laws and intuitive living. And as I dive into this topic, I'm going to specifically talk about the universal law of surrender and responsibility. Now, these are actually two different universal laws, but they work in tandem. And so how this actually correlates with intuitive living is because working with the law or laws of surrender and responsibility, as you focus and contemplate and move into the utilization of these laws, you'll find that this is actually a way that we can create, evolve, heal, or we like to say manifest. And this is very important. The laws of surrender and responsibility, it's very important in the pursuit of living a fulfilled life, a life that is aligned with the spiritual seeker's purpose, and living a life that is happy and satisfying. I think that we fundamentally have a suspicion or a belief that we need to contend with, that perhaps we are not really allowed to have a life that is free of, let's say, worry and fear. Better said, it is not possible for us to desire or work for a life that is happy, fulfilled, and satisfying. And I think it's really sad. I mean, I can identify that with that myself. And there is a very good and logical reason why we may have this concern, even if it's not all the time, this concern that life isn't really possibly able to be happy, satisfying, and fulfilled. The reason for this is because our brains are designed to focus on fear and danger and struggle. It's how our brains are designed. It's how our brains are wired. It's true. Now, it doesn't mean that we have to live in that space or dwell in that space, but awareness is the place where we can start to override something that might be the defaulting of the wiring of our brain. And let me explain this. The brain is physical. The brain is body, right? The brain is not, as we're looking at it, I mean, it's the meat. It has currents of energy running through it. Yes, of course. But it is the body. And our bodies evolve very slowly as compared to the non-physical parts of us, the consciousness, even the mind. But the mind is between the consciousness, or the, let's say, the spirit and the emotion. It's between. The mind is a matrix. It's a construct that is shared between the body and the energy. The body moves, it evolves very slowly. And so the body is still equipped for a lifestyle that is centuries old, centuries and centuries old. The body is equipped and defaulted to react to danger. The body is equipped and a default design to be concerned about lions and bears jumping out of bushes at any time. And that is not how our lives are designed now. So since the body is designed this way, so is the brain. And it's not just the brain in our head, but it's all of the nervous system throughout our body. It's the gut brain as well. And yet it doesn't actually suit our current lifestyles. So having this trigger of reacting to lions and bears jumping out of bushes, we have it, and then we make it make sense because it's there and it's active. And so then we take this reaction, this impulse that a lion is going to jump out and eat me at any moment, and we attach it to something in our life where there is a perceived threat or danger. Boss, partner, friend, relative, or finances, and or politics, of course. We attach this existing mode, this default mode of worrying about a threat and reacting in such a manner. And since there aren't any lions, we can see that, then we attach it to what we think is a plausible threat. But see, the threat of finances or politics, it's not as immediate as literally right now a lion eating me. And we lie awake at night in our soft and comfortable and safe beds. Of course, this is a hyperbole because there are some situations culturally and systemically where people are actually under threat even while they lie in their bed. I'm taking the median of the Western lifestyle. But even lying in your bed and there's threat, unless you're in Ukraine right now, lying in your bed, that your neighborhood may be more dangerous, it's still not as immediate as a lion jumping out of a bush immediately right now. And so that is where we are. We are in this strange juxtaposition between the body and the reality of our lifestyles. And so how this all feeds into the topic of the universal law or laws of surrender and responsibility is that it directly feeds into this juxtaposition of the paradox between what the body is composed to, the brain is wired to experience as a default, and what is actually available to us in reality. We're actually traumatized. We're becoming traumatized by our fear fantasies. And so how this relates to the surrender and responsibility universal laws is that these two are also seeming polarities, surrender and responsibility, because surrender is a complete passive experience, sinking into passivity. Responsibility is really your ability to respond, and so it has an action to it. So complete passivity and then an action. But response and reactivity are completely different. And when we're talking about the model of the brain being wired to be in reaction of a potential immediate threat, reaction is a response that takes out of it any relational or any holistic experiencing. It comes down to a singular threat, one against the other. Responsibility or responding is more holistic. It gives us the It is the model of being able to take in a lot of consideration and then working with all of that and moving forward in response as opposed to an immediate reactivity. So the universal laws of surrender and responsibility are actually mapped. I'm talking about the brain, but it's actually mapped in the brain too, because we do have two hemispheres of the brain. We have a right and a left hemisphere, and they actually, there's something called the split brain theory, that if you actually sever the cord between the two the parts of the brain, the two hemispheres of the brain, that we can observe that there's actually two consciousnesses between the right and the left brain. They've done this with certain, I think they're with certain kinds of epilepsy in order to interrupt the seizing. When they cut this, then we have the right body acting differently than the left body. It's fascinating. You can look it up sometime. I don't want to take too much time here, but there are actually two different consciousnesses, so to speak, inside our head. And now we're flowing from one to the other all the time. And the right brain is relational, it's intuitive, it's creative, and it's open to new experiences. And the left brain is the language, yes, but it's not only, language isn't only in the left brain, it's also in the right, because language can be creative. So this is during the hemisyncing between the right and left brain. But the left brain is about what is known, what has been experienced, it's data, it's logic, analysis, reasoning, and it's a willpower, being able to move forward on a task. These two really need to work together. And however, unfortunately, we have, with that triggering of the reactivity to an immediate threat of a lion jumping out and consuming us, that is left brained, because the left brain is more of being predatory. So if we're being attacked, then we have to turn into a predator ourselves. We are the prey, but we need to defend and we have to react. And so the right brain is more of the actual prey, of the receiving of the well, let's just say feminine energy, the receiving the surrender energy. So the right brain is the surrender energy. I can't, it's interesting. This is my left hand. When I say right brain, I go like this. But as you may know, the right brain actually controls the left side of the body. The left brain controls the right side of the body. So even though up here it's different, there is it's called a chiasm. It crosses, and then below, it's somewhere around the middle of the head and at the brainstem. Then so when I say right brain, my right brain is telling me to move my left hand. Isn't that interesting? I was just noticing that. It's not because I don't know my left from my right. It's because I'm actually in those different hemispheres as I'm talking about them. Fascinating. Anyway, so we have an overemphasis. Let's say we have an overemphasis of the left brain, which would be the action and the reactivity, whereas the left brain, if you're here watching this, hello, I'm just saying hello to who's here right now. Hey, if anybody is on, hi, Kay. Oh my gosh. So good to see your name and virtually hear your voice. Hey, if Jeremy Stangnes is here, if anybody is here who I've made a moderator of my channel, if you wouldn't mind kicking off any person who is posting lewd content, which that one person is, or just ignore it. So anyway, I don't know if anybody here has actually been made moderator on my YouTube channel, but just ignore that. All right, anyway. So with the universal laws of surrender and responsibility, we have surrender, which is a holistic, a sinking into, and the capacity to receive. Whereas when we are in reactivity, we are protecting and we are trying to maintain what already is. We're not open to receiving, because in physical threat, we are trying to maintain our physical body because we don't want the lion to eat it. With surrender, we are able to sink into the holistic potential and to accept what is. And as we're accepting what is, we're able to then get to the place where we can, what we say in our metaphysical speaking, we say we co-create with what is, and we move forward from it. And so then we are able to actually create some of that hemisync between the right and left brain. We're very much in the right brain as we are surrendering. And then as we utilize our ability to respond, we start to access the left brain. We access logic and reasoning. We access skills and learning. Yet we're still staying right brain dominant so that we can be open to the creation. Because again, right brain is creative. And yet we use the tools from the left brain. And then we use the logic from the holistic, open, surrendered space, the logic to say, well, this is logical, and I'm including all perspectives. And it is the sweet spot to be able to create, the sweet spot of surrender first and then responsibility, the ability to respond, is a sweet spot to be able to create spiritually and then to take action upon it in the physical world. So we are overriding that function that is the default mode of the brain, the wiring to be in reactivity to an immediate threat. This state of being in surrender and responsibility will help us to resolve, dissolve, and move and learn from trauma. And we all experience trauma. And there's someone here now on the feed, as I can see, someone that I have in mind here who has experienced a devastating trauma. I'm not going to tell their business, but a devastating trauma about a year ago, I believe. And this is most likely creating an extreme reactivity in the body as this grieving and as this moving forward from the trauma is being processed. So as we're able to, let's say even in a grieving process, surrender and feel all of the emotions, let them move through, and then utilize the ability to respond, to move forward, then we're able to actually have the trauma be somehow, even though it's painful and we'd never have preferred it to happen, but since it has occurred, we can distill from it learning and strength from having overcome it, if nothing else. And so I want to point out that how we're able to utilize to work with this updated model that actually works with our life, as opposed to the outdated model that our brain is default wired to be in reactivity of immediate threat of being eaten alive. The updated model that actually suits our lives better and suits our capacity to create and be healthy, happy, and satisfied. It really comes down to intuition. And intuition comes down to the capacity to turn off the left brain. When we're able to turn off the left brain to cease the thinking, then we actually naturally can fall into surrender, fall into the right brain that is open to no thinking, open to receiving thoughts and feelings, open to co-creating thoughts and feelings. And now we're spiritual here, so we understand that co-creating thoughts and receiving thoughts, we direct this co-creation and receiving to beings of light or higher self, God, whatever works for you, that is something that is above and beyond the physical only. It is the dimensions of you, the dimensions of your consciousness. And your consciousness is multidimensional. And in these layers or dimensions of your consciousness, when we are communing with spirit guides, whether they're past loved ones or they're masters or angels, when we're communing with these others in the realms of light and energy, they actually step into, they step into the dimension of your consciousness, that layer of your consciousness, and that's how the communing or conversing actually occurs, is that it actually becomes your consciousness. You resonate, you become one energy with that other, that co-creative being of light and energy. And so what this all comes down to is the practice of meditation. Meditation always begins with stopping thinking. This is also, by the way, meditation is a form of hypnosis. It is one of the types of hypnosis. And so with meditation, we are able to work the muscle of stopping the thinking, stopping the reactivity. When we're able to turn that off, then we can fall into surrender. We can allow ourselves to be open to the holistic perspective, which then opens us up to the whole universe. And then we can take from our left brain symbols, metaphors, tools for creativity and intuition. Then we can become that magnet for the things in our life that would be satisfying, fulfilling, and create happiness. And so, if we can ponder for a moment what it means to radically surrender, meaning completely, radical surrender, able to release everything in the life that we think is the reason to stay in reactivity for just a moment, if for no other reason because you deserve the peace, and you deserve the clarity, and you deserve the break. And then from that place, after we've mingled in that for a while and the energy has opened up to the holistic picture, then we become creative. Then we can take tools from the left brain. And that is really the sweet spot of creation. So, having the practice, the regular practice, at least daily, of meditation, so that the thinking and the reactivity can stop. And if nothing else, 5 minutes of getting to the place where there is a stopping. And then when we spend some more, and minutes don't really matter, it's just that we do tend to give ourselves more capacity to move if we have time. But that is really not the principle that makes it possible. We actually use time so that it's not using us as a tool. Something I go into in my trainings on meditation. And when we're able to habitually be in that space regularly, turning off the mind, turning off the mind, opening to the holistic picture, surrendering, and then able to also take radical responsibility. How could I respond right now? Absolutely right now, from this place of holistic co-creating. Absolutely right now, how can I move forward from this sense of gravity, of groundedness, and yet expansion at the same time? That's when we're living the life that is satisfying, creating happiness. And then, yes, things start to show up in the life. That is living intuitively. And so, what I want to, before I go to the chat here, which I would love to offer you guys, if anyone who's here, if you would like some intuitive insight, if you would like me to tap in and do some readings, I am available to that. So if anyone is considering whether they would like to ask for a reading, then just put something in the chat here that it has some quality of a hook in for me, asking for insight around such and such. And then just to give something that it directs your intention for what it is that you would like to receive. That would be great. Go ahead when you're ready. While I'm waiting for that, I want to tell you about the coaching program that I have starting next week. It's an education and coaching program. I did play a little intro, a little ad about it at the beginning of this. It's called Easy Intuition and Meditation Coaching. And we're working some of what it is that I just was chatting about, was teaching you about the model of meditation as the hub to turn off the thinking so that we can be open to the intuitive thinking and feeling and moving forward and creating. And some pillars of this will be a lot of tools of meditation, a lot of audios, a lot of different ways that I'll be delivering to you meditations so that you can have different inputs into your consciousness to stimulate it. Those will be delivered as for you to self-pace on, as well as in our live coaching. We're going to be doing 3 in November, 3 in December, and 1 in January. That's the whole program. It goes from November through about the middle or about the first week of January. And we'll be doing live meditations in the coaching as well. We'll be doing hot seat coaching. We'll be doing community connecting, attuning. It's going to be amazing. And then in the education, we're going to be learning and immersing in learning in the way where it's really actually not like school was. It's more attuning education. If you notice the way that if you were listening to how I taught that lesson there, it's really about receiving it. And it's receiving it in the body. And it's receiving it with the right brain, as we were talking about, as opposed to learning facts and figures and data. We will be also opening up tools of divination. And many of you may already have different divination practices, and that's fantastic. But we're going to be looking at divination in hopefully fresh ways and different ways, so that either if you're brand new to what divination is, or if you have a practice, you'll get something freshly attuning for you. And we're also going to talk about self-inquiry and human design. And if you haven't gotten to human design yet, go get your chart. It is the user manual for your operating system. And really is, I think, key to understanding how your intuition works. Okay, looks like we have some. My eyes are a little off today. When I'm in a channeling mode, sometimes my vision goes a little wonky. So let's see. I'm going to just scramble the chat here and see this one. I haven't read it yet. Sheila, hello. I would love a reading if you feel drawn. Any next steps for working on my mediumship? Sheila, and mediumship. Sheila and mediumship. I'm feeling drawn to pull you also as a supplement a card from the Atlantis, Diana Cooper Atlantis deck. Sheila and her mediumship. Okay, so the first thing they showed me, Sheila, was actually your this part of the body, and it's the emotional solar plexus. And so what is it that you want to tell me about this? Okay, so they're talking about, thank you, essentially upgrading the light quotient of the emotional body. Okay, thank you. First of all, they say that you are doing this, and congratulations. And that it is something that you have been focusing on, that you have been spending some awareness on. I don't like the word spending, but, allowing the space in your awareness for this upgrading of the emotional body. And so they're mainly mentioning this because they want you to know, they're saying congratulations that you are doing it, that it is the process. Now they say from this place to do more of the ability to respond to this now and take steps forward. Put yourself in the space of giving readings. Now they say both with yourself as well as with others, because we need to put ourselves in the context of seeing the skills and the talents manifest. So they say with yourself, thank you, I got a card here, for yourself to, however much, I don't know if you're already doing this or if you've done it in the past. So if you're already doing it, then to make it a little bit more of a regular habit or more frequent a habit of, with your morning meditation, your morning devotional session, then take some time to communicate with a being in spirit. This can be a past loved one of your own, or this could be an ascended master or like archangel. to actually have that communication. Now, they say in order for you to, if we're talking about mediumship with past loved ones, then to actually tap into that realm. So, past loved ones that are your own, you can just ask for someone to step forward. It doesn't have to be someone that you knew in this life in order for that communication to be valid. One of my very first spirit guides, actually, she was with me from the time I was a little kid. But then after I opened up to my psychic abilities and my mediumship, one of the first ones who stepped forward was eventually what I found out was my great grandmother. I didn't know that's who it was. She was giving me her name. And then I found out by looking at my ancestry that she was my great grandmother. I didn't live on the planet at the same time as as she, and her daughter actually passed away, my grandmother, when I was like, I think 18 months old. So I didn't really have a relationship directly in the physical, but it's a very valid relationship and communication. And then also, if you have guides, or whether they're past loved ones or not, who are of the former human ilk, then to actually open yourself up to having those conversations, to and when you do that, you probably want to write. So you're going to be vacillating between, again, that right brain, left brain experience, staying hubbed in the right brain, staying hubbed in the intuitive and open, not the thinking and analysis, and write down the messages or speak them into a voice note. And then also allow yourself to feel into, like, work all of your clairs, feel into their essential essence and their, whether you, if they had a sense of humor and what their humor was like, if they were intellectual and what kind of intellectual pursuits they were interested in, those kinds of qualities of essence. And then also just the physical characteristics that they had when they were here. So you can do this all on your own, and then also welcome in more of the servicing others. So that is to say that it is in your raising your emotional light quotient, upgrading your emotional body. If you think about your emotions as, let's say, a well and it's water, and then we're kind of purifying it. We're putting in fresh water and we're taking out stagnant water, or water that's filled with bacteria or whatever. And again, they say, congratulations, you're doing this. And then even in the process of this upgrading, start to do the practicing with yourself and with others, ticking it up if you already are doing it. Okay, so then the card that I pulled, maybe a little hard to see on the thing, but it says High Priest. And so it's not high priestess, it's the masculine energy. And it says, at any given time, there were 6 high priests and high priestesses of Atlantis, highly evolved cosmic beings who took instructions directly from the Intergalactic Council. Each was in charge of 12 regions. They were noble leaders who worked selflessly for the greatest good of people. What I'm getting from this is that tapping into your high priest energy as the motivation to do any and all of this, it gives humans really respond to having that sense of purpose and the sense of a mission. So you have an important mission, tapping into that to give you the motivation to do all of this upgrading for yourself. I hope that was helpful, Sheila. You can let me know if you need any more clarification. Let me just scroll down here. And great advice. You're welcome. You're so welcome. And Tracy says, I'm excited. Yes, Tracy, you're enrolled, aren't you? Thank you so much. Tracy says, I've just started my journey. I'm trying to communicate with my guides. Am I doing it the right way? Ooh, first of all, I want to say thank you, Gay. It is exciting and magical. I would love to have you if you are interested. And so Tracy, let's talk to Tracy. Am I doing it the right way is the first thing that shows up. That there isn't an outside authority that can tell you that. And that is the whole, thank you. They told me to go to the dragon cards, but I'm getting chills about it. That is actually the crux of, like you said, you're at the beginning of your journey. That is very typical of the beginning of the journey, is to be claiming and calling back sovereignty. Sovereignty means that you are sovereign in your spiritual experiencing, and there isn't even a right way. There isn't a right way, except that it is what is fulfilling and what feels good to you. because you are a unique creator being, meaning a being that creates, and therefore your creation is absolute and absolutely and entirely unique to you. And when we are dwelling in the spiritual essences, okay, so what I want to say is there's two things that come to mind. One is in A Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles, there's a line that says, all of God's children are special and none of God's children are special. And that's just kind of interesting paradox that we are all the same and all different and unique at the same time. So there is, I can't remember the psychologist whose book, I can't remember how to attribute, but to paraphrase, there is a psychologist writing about the personality traits, and the phrase goes, we are all like everyone. We are all like some other people. Okay, so let me say that again. We are all like all other people. We are all like some other people, and we are all like no other people. So obviously we have commonalities of that first tier with everyone. And then we have commonalities with some people. And then we have commonalities with no people, because you are a unique cosmic event that came from the mind of God or spirit, however you like to say that. You are a unique puzzle piece in the universe. And so when we are in spiritual exploration, communicating with your guides, who are your co-creative partners, who enter your unique consciousness, then there isn't a correct way to do it that someone else can validate or tell you. It is about being able to claim your correctness about it. Now, I know that the left brain, since we've been talking about that, I know that the conscious mind might find that maddening, because our conscious mind, we have been trained to listen to outside authority from the time that we are very little. That the playing and that that we're doing when we're, let's say, 3 years old or 4 years old, that it's wrong, that we need to stop doing that and put on our shoes and go to church or school or grandma's house or someplace we didn't really feel like going. And the playing that we were doing was serious and real. We're really getting back to that place in our spiritual journey, including talking to our guides. Think of that 3 or 4 year old. Tracy, think of yourself, picture yourself as the 3 or 4 year old. She's like 3.5. And she's playing, and she has her dolls and or whatever, implements, her divination tools, if you will, whatever implements that are helping her to create this reality. And you're deep in the story, but the story is happening right now. And there's inspiration coming in, and there's life in the characters of this play that is happening. That's what we're getting back to, because that is the place from which we create in our lives. But the trauma, essentially, which God bless all of the parents, we don't know better, and I don't know how to do it. I'm not a parent of humans, so I don't really know how to solve this problem. But there is a trauma that is put upon us as children that it's time to stop that. And there, it's, in a sense, there's no one to blame, because we do need to train children to pay attention to and respond to the outside world, or we're going to throw them out there and they won't be able to feed themselves. You know what I mean? So we do have to give them that reality, and it seems no matter what we do, there will be some kind of an interruption of that. We somehow figure out how to preserve the importance of that play and the validation of that play, yet also the validation of stopping it and moving forward to interact with this construct of homogenized living. So we're mostly operating, when we are outside or at the beginning of our spiritual journey or before our spiritual journey, we're usually operating in that harshness of thinking we need to listen to others and have validation from others in order to be real or valid. And so with your spiritual journeying, including when you're speaking with your guides, it is you validating that sense and bringing back, you already know how to do it, to be in the co-creative, in the play, and the validation of what it is you're experiencing. And so, in a practical sense, the steps are meditation, the first step in meditation is to be able to turn off the thinking, the habituated thinking. And it does, if you're when one is at the beginning of that, it is hard for everyone because the thinking mind is undisciplined and it interrupts. And by the way, even if you have years and years and years of practice of meditation, you're constantly retraining that part of the mind to stop interrupting and stop trying to hijack the space, the sacred space of your no thinking, which will then lend itself to co-thinking, receiving thoughts. And that's what communicating with your guides really is. It is not an analysis kind of thinking. It's not a thinking from the place that we've been. That honestly, when we think when that is happening, sometimes we get into superstition and fear-based stuff. So it's validating the co-creative, the receiving of thoughts and the co-creating of thoughts communication. And that's what actually talking to our guides are. It is in the sovereign experience of how it is happening for you. All right. So you have two cards here. And I love the colors of it. We have this throat chakra color, and there's some indigo in there too, of the indigo ray. And then, of course, a lot of the green of the heart ray, of the green ray. Air and water dragon helps you connect to higher frequencies. Oh my gosh. That's exactly what you're asking about. Trust your intuition. Develop your psychic abilities. Be open to enlightenment. Express your inner song. I like that. Feel your inner song, Tracy, and allow it to be expressed. There's your answer. But you got a second card too, and this is Orange Gold Dragon from Arcturus. Opens you to knowledge for the new golden age. Carry the energy of the future and be a guiding light. So this is where you are now, and this is a moving forward. You are an energy keeper of the new golden age, and you're a guide and a leader in it. From this place, I know you're like, what are you talking about? Maybe because you're saying you're at the beginning, I'm assuming, but that's what it usually feels like when you get a big message like this, that you are an energy keeper of a new golden age. I hope that was helpful. By the way, it bears repeating that when we're giving readings in an open forum like this, that Spirit organizes the messages to touch all of us in some way. I mean, I definitely received a lot from that message. And so if you're like, what is she actually talking to me? Yes, Spirit is also talking to you. All right, let me see. Let me scramble it up. Well, let's see. Is that you still, Tracy? Okay, yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm trying to communicate. Oh, that's the same one. And then okay, cool. I was just seeing if there was any feedback. And, oh, that's okay. Yeah, the replay. You can watch the replay. Thank you. Let me see. Gay. Oh, here we go. Here's Gay. Okay. And Shauna. Hi, Shauna. I see you. Gay says, I would love a reading about moving forward. Yeah. And Gay, the first thing they're showing me is that the reason you're even asking about moving forward is because you feel you're right at that threshold. And they say that, and yet at the same time, they encourage you to, so you're in an inter-between place, and it can feel really uncomfortable. It's so complex what I'm getting. So they want you to go ahead and not move forward some of the time and not pressure yourself to, even though I know you feel like you really want to in some ways. And yet at the same time, there's also like a guilt and just discomfort about moving forward. It's so complex, so complex. And so breathing through all of that, because you're holding so much complex energy. And so they say a little at a time. They're even just saying maybe 1 hour of 1 week at a time of something that is different from the chrysalis, the chrysalis of taking care of the self. It's like the butterfly's wing just like comes out and feels the breeze. So for you, I know what a brilliant and fantastic medium and reader and intuitive that you are, that if you can open yourself up to maybe being of service, just maybe once per week, whether that's paid or volunteer, it doesn't really matter. To be of service would really, you'll find yourself able to shift for that brief moment into a different energy, into a moving forward energy. and then not have to force yourself, not have to like abandon the self-care of the care of yourself and then also everyone else in your life too. And so it's honestly, it's like it could be more than 1 hour a week, but if it's 1 hour per week, to have a break from the intense process of healing yourself and nurturing and taking care of yourself can actually can be it will actually help your healing, to give yourself a break from feeling about or thinking about what's going on with yourself, and being able to be of service and feeling about and thinking about someone else entirely. It could be a really welcome break and a way to help you to feel strong again and moving forward, and yet not too much pressure. That's what I'm getting, and I'm going to pull you a card from from the this sacred geometry activations. How have you been, Gay, with that? Have you been able to return to being of service at all? If you want to share, or if not, that's fine. I'm just wondering if you do want to share, you can let me know. And the card here, oh, that's nice. Prosperity. That's a nice, and it feels very much, the prosperity in all ways imaginable. And the ones that come up immediately for you, definitely the prosperity of the spirit, though. Let me see if I can get that in focus somehow. There, that's a little bit more in focus. That mandala. The frequency of prosperity supports our feeling of well-being by allowing the inclusion of everything that makes our body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit sing. So that's what I was thinking of, as everything that you can imagine prosperity in. It invites us to express ourselves in joy and celebration of the abundance and riches that the universe provides. Ooh, that's a nurturing card. I love you so much, Gay. I love you so much. Let's see. Oh, wait, sorry. I will get back to you, Anna. I want to see what Gay says. Synchronization. I was just thinking of doing readings again. Okay. So there we go. Beautiful. Thank you for the affirmation. Just of service to close friends, but thanks for today has been lit a spark. Oh, I love that. Thank you. I love you so much. I love you so much. Okay. Anna says, hey, Tricia. Hey, Anna. Or is it Anna? I would love a message if you feel drawn. Can feel the transitions of life happening as my mama ages and is letting go, and my daughter is preparing for birth. I felt drawn to be here in Florida as if I'm holding space here and new birth is happening. But my old space in Wisconsin has been hard to let go of, and I feel the gaps and transitioning more than ever as family passes and life keeps moving forward. I'm watching for signs, and I'm always here to be of service. Okay, so I can't read in there. It looks like there's more, but it cuts off. So, oops, I didn't mean to take it away. So Anna, okay, so transitions, yes, and so it's a very powerful place that you're in. It's very challenging to the human spiritual being to be essentially in the awareness of life transiting. And the word doula is just like doula, because there's life coming in, and that there is a life that is continuing in a different way. And then the sense of wondering whether you should be transiting as well. It's a lot of transitioning. I'm going to go ahead and take this away because it's kind of blocking a lot of the screen, Anna. So first of all, the first thing they just whispered into my ear, they said that, and they told me to say it that way because they've been whispering it into your ear. I see this. Thank you. That they say the word leader. And, oh, okay. Thank you. So there is the sense of taking on a new position of leadership in more than one way. As you said that your mama, and I'm so sorry for this, that you're saying your mother is moving on. She's graduating to the next stage of soul existence, but it's hard for us and it's painful. possibly, probably. And that, as in the case of, let's say when our parent, especially the one that we identify as the same gender, as the same sex, then we take on the position of the matriarch in the family lineage, or the patriarch, as it may be. And so there is a great existential shift. And then, of course, bringing in new life as a parent. And so to be with the let yourself embody the concept of the existential shift of new leadership coming into the path, because it's like you're crossing a threshold and there's a powerful new existential shift that is leadership. And they say it's natural for you. So this is what they want to know, is that there isn't really anything you need to do except to let your instrument of your body process all of this transitional energy. As to Florida or Wisconsin, this mostly, what I'm seeing here is that there's no need to hastily make this choice, that it feels fine right now, and that thank you. They're saying just relax and let synchronicities, even though you have a forethought about being somewhere else, or even memories of having been there before, that you don't have to tarry or worry too much about how, when, or should I, and all of that kind of stuff, to sit back and, while you might daydream about the other place and also still appreciate the current place, just let that happen in a positive sense. Daydream about the other place and appreciate the current place. And then let the synchronization of all of the field show up for you, and the steps will let it organically and naturally happen. Now we say that, but because even when we move states, it would be work. But the actual timing and needing to start to do the work or the effort of actually moving places, it will show up for you naturally, organically. And I actually see you doing some visiting a few times before you actually get to the place of making that decision. Now, I want to say get to the place of making that decision because I don't see it as decided yet. At least they're not giving me that information, because they want you to just be in the place of experiencing, honestly, in a multidimensional sense, both places and the fulfillment of the experiencing of both places. Once again, this is very much like the birth and the death, and being the doula, the one who holds space for that transiting place, which makes you the strong and powerful leader from the past and into the future. I hope that was practical enough for you. Magenta Dragon enables you to bring forward your soul wisdom. Ooh, wisdom. Leadership, wisdom. And your soul has wisdom. There is experience, and there is learning, and there is skills, and there's intellect, and all of that goes into how we are a leader. But wisdom is something that is both experiential and both spontaneous in the moment, when we open ourselves up to the soul, which is holding timeless ancestry, generations, planetary experience. It's holding everything and so much. And in the moment, it can be birthed into us from the soul. The wisdom can happen spontaneously. So awaken your soul memories and higher spiritual understanding. Prepare for accelerated ascension. What a way to cap off that. I love magenta. What a beautiful color. Magenta being the mix of the red ray and the violet ray. And oh my gosh, just think of that. The red ray and the violet ray is the juxtaposition, not the juxta, but the interbetween of the ending and the beginning. It's the blending of the ending and the beginning. Wow. That's kind of crazy. I hope that was helpful. Beautiful. Doula and duality. Oh my goodness. Yes. I've seen that organically. It falls together. Okay. Wonderful. And Wisconsin in the house today, is gays in Wisconsin as well. All right. All right. Let's see. Okay. So here's one. It says, Archangel message for me. And I don't see your name because when I'm using StreamYard, and in order for me to see your name when you're coming in on Facebook, you just have to click through at the top there. It says like StreamYard.com/Facebook, and then it shows me your name. So I don't know your name, but I will see. But I do see Raphael coming through. I see very powerfully the emerald ray and Raphael coming through and saying that you have been asking as to whether you are a healer with the hands and with the heart. And the answer is, the reason you ask the question is because you know the answer already. It is yes. The answer yes is in the asking. And that, how do I do it? When do I do it? What to the how, what, when, where is, well, first of all, is to devoting the healing to the self. A healer is always healing, and the instrument, it can be most, you have the greatest access to is yourself. And so we're always healing the self. It feels as though you have some pressures that have you to feel like you are not, let's say, don't have the time or even the energy to, no, I want the Atlantis cards, the time or the energy to spend in your devotion, and you're also being able to take like classes, ways to be able to feel your inspiration. And so you're encouraged to carve that out for yourself. And so you might want to start by a couple of things, like, let's see, just putting it in your schedule to be able to spend time in your own personal devotional practice and healing, which I think like maybe doing some divination, ways to actually, okay, got it, anchor in the activation of how you are up leveling or opening up even more to your facility as a healer and your connection with Raphael, Archangel Raphael. And so just putting it in your schedule, and then also maybe doing something about like taking a class, like if you want to take one that's local, that meets in person, finding one, and then just signing up for it and really committing to doing it. And you may have to ask for someone to, you might have to say no to plans, or you might have to ask for someone to help with the things that are your responsibilities, or so on and so forth, and do something different that is in tribute to this part of yourself. That's the way we have to, from this place of surrendering to, I am a healer, and it needs to be a greater part of my doing in life. We have to be in the being first, because the right brain, or the surrender aspect, is the being, is the be. It's not the do. And then we do from that. Being before doing. But we also have to do. From the being, we have to utilize our ability to respond. So we have to take actions the best that we can at the time. So there's a little, that's Raphael for you. So materialization. So this is the card that I got from the Atlantis deck. I can't get it to be in focus for some reason. It's like focusing on my fingers. Anyway, 41. So that is 4 is the energy of building, teaching, and grounding. And 1 is the energy of source, as well as the individual and the autonomous. And then 5 together. So that's the energy of freedom by way of change from having done the energy of the 4 and the 1. Let's see, the magi and some specially trained priests were able to manifest items from the spiritual realms. First, that's what basically healing is manifesting. First, they achieved total clarity about what they wanted. So this is what they're being, Raphael is saying, to be clear about what you want, and then focus on the most intricate details of the vision and able to hold it in the mind. Because everything is made up of energy, they could draw the pure energy of the higher dimensions into denser vibration and fashion it into a physical object. This power was used to serve people. And so buttoning off that message with, it's for you, yes, but it's to be of service. And that feels wonderful, because the reason things feel wonderful is because it is your soul frequency. It's your natural frequency. I hope that was helpful. It's Brandy. Okay, Brandy. Good. Anna says, always have to do both, balancing being and doing. Yes. Start from being first, and then doing. Being before doing. All right. I don't see any other. Hi, Tracy. Oh, sorry. I mean, I thought I saw another Tracy. I mean, Amy. That's what I meant to say. Hi, Amy Maldonado. Nice to see you. Okay, I don't see any other requests, and it's been about an hour, so I will begin to wrap this up now. I just want to, if you didn't get a chance to hear the teaching at the beginning, I think it was very attuning, and it was about the first 15 minutes of the broadcast. So go check that out. I also want to invite you to the course that I am starting next week. It's beautiful. It's amazing. I created it. I am co-creating it with you because I am ready to up level in my life. I'm ready to change my life. I am ready to embrace the fact that I am designed to be happy and to have life satisfaction. And that's what I am delivering to you. It is easy intuition and meditation coaching. We're going to be having all kinds of attuning education and meditations, many different kinds of meditations to help us to fall in love, either for the first time or to up level that meditation, that devotional practice. We're also going to learn about human design and as it concerns your intuition, as it concerns how to live your life as the differentiated, specialized, unique cosmic being that you are in this life. We're also going to open up new and exciting ways to experience divination as tools to of the basically doula into our experience, messages from spirit and messages from the depths of our soul. We're going to have group coaching on Sundays at 9 a.m. Pacific, so it was European friendly. These are going to be amazing. Hot seat coaching. I will also be leading meditations and attunement in that, and we're probably going to do some breakout room stuff so that we can have some small group interaction. And maybe if you wanted to do something like practice divination with someone else, we'll be doing that. Oh, it's going to be amazing. I'm just like, my heart is holding the resonance, and I feel like I want to scream or, I don't know, puke. I'm not going to do either one of those here. I just want to invite you to it. So as I wrap this up, I'm going to just go, let me give you that link. You can find it on my website, but I should have put it in already. My website is triciacarcharm.com. And while I'm pulling up this easy intuition and meditation coaching link, let me also let you know about, if you go to my website, you will also find my subscription platform called Modern Mystic. And Modern Mystic is here. I'm going to put it in so you can see it. Tricia Carr Charm, TRICIACHARM.com/easy intuition meditation coaching. And it's actually just right there pops up on the front page of my website. You could just Google me and you'll find it. And it's probably in the description of this video too. Anyway, I want to tell you about also Modern Mystic, which you'll find on my website, which is my subscription platform where I am regularly throughout the week delivering inspiration, exclusive teaching, and different. And also we meet once per month for a workshop on esoteric topics, usually experiential, giving readings. And then also we do a live meditation once per month, a group meditation, and you get all kinds of meditation downloads. That's only $11 a month. It's really amazing. So a beautiful community. Easy Intuition is a temporary program, 2.5 months, that is a heightened coaching and education program and community activation. So it's going to be amazing. Just want to let you know the difference between the two. So there you go. Those are my invitations to you. Of course, you may know that I have a podcast called Charmed Life with Tricia Carr, conscious conversations in times where I'm teaching. And also my YouTube channel, which you may be watching this on the YouTube channel. And I guess that's about it. I guess I'm on Instagram too. I put stuff up there. So I had the best time connecting with you guys today, those of you who are live, as well as those who would be watching on the replay. I love you so very much. You make my life happy and satisfying. I mean that. I mean that from the depths of my soul. My soul's like right here, it's like the depths, the way, the inside, the inside, the inside. I mean that. And I love you so much. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.